You see that?
Yes. How many copies?
All depends on you. Just keeping one copy that's good enough, and you think you can give somebody, and you can make more copy.
Okay.
That's why I'm give the written transmission, like oral talking. Talking is 3 times. Written these days, written is evidence, of course. you go court, but you need the evidence. no evidence, you cannot win. Right. Consciousness.
When we talk about alaya consciousness, I mean, that's more a function of the individual's development.
That's called the total mankind life consciousness, final consciousness, alaya consciousness. Yes, that's alaya consciousness is so well written, they developed, called Allah God, or the only one God talking about. But that final consciousness has 2 kinds. One in the leaking mind, another is not leaking mind. I told you, on the one roof, the 2 rooms. That's right way, correct way of thinking. And no leaking mind, you get right thought. Leaking mind, it turn into dictators. I am the number 1. Nobody can approach me. That's what we call mind matters. We call mind leaking. Mind leaking is time leaking thing. Time processing. Microdot time processing. That's called cyber. No different, same principle. Therefore, you gotta make a microdot less. Therefore, no more leaking.
So the stages of consciousness are not important.
Yeah, consciousness. Yes, you can tell. State. 50 state. United States 50 state. Same thing.
I'm
The
not
50 state.
conscious of
What?
that.
That's called alaya consciousness. 50 state. One consciousness. Final one consciousness. United States 50
The
state.
50 states is final 1 consciousness?
That's correct.
Oh, I thought it was leaking mind.
It's leaking mind, yes. Half is leaking mind.
Okay.
Alaya consciousness. Amalaya consciousness, absolutely no leaking. 9th consciousness.
Okay.
Think about the Supreme Court, 9 members. They are no leaking. That's called Amalaya consciousness. United States, whoever had made it very well done, well set up, but in
It's
physical,
got really screwed up, though.
well, physically they didn't prove it. Therefore, until World War II,
It's a nice theory.
yeah, 1945, no, August 15, they proved, because they claim, Japanese claim Hawaii, their country, but United States win it. That's for the standing. They are ocean time standing form. 5 time zone standing. That's Buddhist Tripitaka. Buddha preached 49 years. This period, five time zone. That's called eagle eye. Eagle eye means out of 50 state, 50 perfect. Number 1, perfect faith. It's turning to supreme enlightenment. Second is perfect abiding, standing, perfect living. That's homeland. That's 3 by 3, 9. Right, 9 capital E. And the third called perfect action. The Hollywood action. Hollywood nothing but they don't prove anything, but they start camera start and that way they make profit. The Nirvana way to talk. And then they're called the 1, 2, 3, 4th. They call the dedication offering, dedication. And the 5th, that's perfect ground. That's called mind. Perfect mind. Another mindfulness. They're thinking of mindfulness quite a bit. But perfect mind means all form world is mind. This mind world is 100% leaking mind. Form is processing on time. That's leaks. That leaking mind, when you earn diamond samadhi, stop it. The diamond samadhi and diamond prajna. One, I told this why. one condoms, one body. Samadhi and prajna is one body. The one buffalo horn. One head has 2 horns. The one buffalo. Or elephant tusk, 2 tusks in one elephant. I made the y. Y equal mx plus b, right? M means mind manas. X means no way to know, but mind over, mind over prime enlightenment, and God and heaven over supreme enlightenment. That's X means. That's called X-Men. X-Men enlightenment. And that's be standing by Buddhahood. That's a perfect way to remember it. You can hold them on.
So the buffalo horn analogy, is that really the same as alaya consciousness? Is that the same idea?
Not alaya.
Not alaya.
Buffalo, the both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
That's
Yes.
the same as alaya consciousness.
That's correct. You're correct. Supreme enlightenment. 9th consciousness.
9th consciousness.
Right. For 9th consciousness and Amalia consciousness, same, no difference. Supreme enlightenment, all same. Also, Nirvana daylight.
But
Many names there, but you choose it.
But in Amalia consciousness, there wouldn't be 2 horns.
No, one horn leaking, one horn less.
That's why I was asking if it was Alaya consciousness, because that's one house, one room is leaking, and one room.
Rhino is a one horn.
Rhino?
Rhino has a one horn. That doesn't work. 2 horn. 2 at the same time, one body. You know, you have a body and mind, 2. Your life, body and mind.
But I only have that because my mind is leaking.
Body is leaking, body's form is leaking, hallucination. It's dream, body means dream.
But if there's no leaking in Amalia consciousness,
Amalia, of course, not leaking.
there's no leaking,
Right.
then how could the buffalo horns be Amalia
The
consciousness?
corner of your spirit.
Because one of them is leaking.
Alea
Yeah, that's what I
is the
meant.
one in leaking.
One is leaking, but so that's why you said the buffalo horns are Amalia consciousness, and I'm asking, are they really not Alaya consciousness?
Alaya consciousness above. 8 and 9, don't confuse.
Right.
8 is still samsara.
Right.
9 is no more samsara.
So when you have the buffalo horns, there's no more samsara.
Buffalo horn, yes. Buffalo horn, you gotta be master. To it, master.
So the buffalo horns, you have to have it with wisdom and equanimity.
Right. Emptiness as well as perfect parajana.
Right.
That's called justice.
We all have the horns, but we have to tame them.
On-time justice. Perfect. Either 2, 9 Amalia Kansas, Supreme Court. United States sitting there so well. When you look at it, whoever made it very well, well done. Therefore, American Zen master, you can so easy to say in a proud way. Otherwise, someone will argue. You say buffalo horn. What is going on? Also, 50 people usually don't know what 50 means. 50 is flower ornament. Flower ornament. One flower has 5 petals. That's the same pattern. At that moment, you attain enlightenment. We call it instant attain enlightenment and instant practice. Same. No, intensive, courses. Take it. That's what we call stupid enough to put yourself in hell. That's Japanese people do that. They lose World War II. They won Russian war. They won Chinese war. They won, and they think they're so proud. We can take United States to America. That's why they start without warning. Just start. They got lost. That's why whole world is very lucky. Japanese lost them because Hiroshima, American nuclear bomb put in 3 times, and the hands up. That's happening, yes. The history of world, that's happening. When you look at history in the whole world history, look at, and that goes, step by step, who is enlightened, who is not, you can tell. You cannot hide these things. This evidence was so clear cut. Look at India. Buddha was born in India, in the north part of India, and therefore Indians should be number 1 nation in the whole world. But Indians, they just cleaned up smartest young generation, killed them all over. Calcutta, Sanskrit University. That was Buddhist university. And after that, they got 300 years slave of British. British small country compared to India. For 300 years, turned into slave. They lost their country for 300 years. Chinese, they lost Hong Kong for 100 years for British people. They turned back. Also, Gandhi take back from India. Gandhi is thought, it's Buddhist thought. No fight back, but it's demanding. He won. That's Buddhist thought. When you look at history, you can see everything cleaned up. That's why when you study major in history, you understand it, well, and you turn into politicians. They usually study American history. American history is taught through very short, very tiny vision. When you go history of the Egyptians and Chinese, go back to 5,000 years ago. Indian history is same thing, very long. 8,000 years turn back. go through and pick up who attend enlightenment or not. It's potentially it shows up. Everything clean. Yeah. Modern days, whoever has capital, called capitalism, money, they can win. Next year they are election, president election. Whoever money they win.
You have money, you change history.
You can rewrite it.
Here you go, like this.
That's why Tea Party is so powerful. Tea Party means Tea Party in Buddhist scripture. Tea Party means attain enlightenment. enlightened on all the virtue and smart wisdom. That means. But American, Tea Party means money laundering. So much money, part of money is get what? Then a turnover. Soil, the turnover, the nice topsoil. Now on you guys do in this Saturday classroom by American Zen Master today. The transmitting from Buddha ceremony to like a 6 patriarch China 33 come out. That transmission lines. Number 1 is Bodhisattvas. The 4 Bodhisattvas, Manjusri in the Samandabhadra and Avalokitesvara, Earth Store Bodhisattvas. 4, it's not human beings. In the spirit matters. In the human being Bodhisattvas, only 4. 12 at Buddha's time. There's Sariputra. Sariputra is number 1. It's like Manjusri. And the second one is after Buddha attained Nirvana 500 years later. 12 patriarch is second. And then the third is 14th patriarch, Nagarjuna. And the 4th is 28th Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma is like Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. He brought the Surangama Sutra. Right. Surangama Sutra means standing for Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Buddha preaches in Ceylon. It's part of the India.
So Bodhidharma was Avalokitesvara. Bodhisattva. The Bodhidharma was who?
Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Yeah. And the Buddha preaches on Ceylon. In Ceylon, there's an India part of the big island. Ceylon. Buddha Solomon went there, and then he preached for Surangama Sutra. That's standing for Avalokitesvara Bodhisattvas. That's why Bodhidharma is standing for that. Yeah, very last one. Bodhidharma is Avalokitesvara Bodhisattvas. Compassion, offering compassion. That's, he brought it 3, right? Buddha's, the wooden container, baru, container with football. And second one is Buddha Kasa wearing, robe. Yeah. 2. Third is he brought Surangama Sutra. And then he preached by one flower has 5 petals. And the Chinese people, they cooked there. All those things well done in China, but glass one flower has 5 petals. Chinese people cannot accept that. They didn't figure out. Even King Muje, that time Muje is Yang Dynasty called in China. Yang Dynasty, King Muje met Bodhidharma. He talking about I'm doing, publishing Buddhist scriptures and building monasteries and feeding monks. How much merit do I have? Bodhidharma said, nothing. that's samsara life. Mind is good mind, or is Christian Bible says it's good talking, good mind, good things. You get the profit talking about. That's mind words. And that mind disappeared of emptiness. The emptiness they turn one God, one. That's the same mind. Mind disappeared emptiness. We call the petrol hell. That's petrol hell, forever hell. Another was stupidity. You lose consciousness. When you lose consciousness without attaining enlightenment, you turn into petrol hell. Emptiness. Emptiness means really cut off self. And the enlightenment means floating time makes stop, cut off time, let it floating. That's what Baba means. Therefore, one who petrol hell, you cannot release it. Only you attain enlightenment to release it. That's why one stop the time that it release called kalpas. You know kalpas? Centuries, 20th century now, they cannot count in kalpas because nobody attain enlightenment. Once you attain enlightenment, make a written there. I wrote for and kalpas. Kalpa is forever. Kalpa is nirvana. Stopped emptiness, stopped time, let it floating. That's kalpa. Kalpa is nirvana. Get it? Once you get it, that we practice that nirvana state practice. You got 6 powerful, the spiritual power. 3 manifestation, eye on heaven, divine eye, and no leaking mind, predestination, called the 3 manifestation. After that, 3 you get it. Well, one you can read others' mind, who are thinking inside, brain going on, you can read it. As long as you're moving consciously, you can read. Immobilized brain, you cannot read. That's what it is. And also your ear dreams, hearing, you can hear the sounds. Just physical body do that, but ear dream stop, you can still hear. And the third one is you can operating one God or many gods, numberless gods or one God, both operating. That's 3 powerful you can get. That's called the 6 spiritual power. That's called the Aganita, name called Aganita. When you practice for a while, that's when you do practice this. But most Chinese or Koreans or Japanese, they practice by Koan. Koan practice is not Zen. Koan practice taking paper, quiz text of the scriptures. All the Koans are written in scriptures. When you look for open scriptures, Koan answer there. Why you do this? Sit down and talk now. Sit down to holding on. There's a mind hooked with quiz questions. That's not Zen meditation. That's called Indian meditation. Indian meditation, thinking about, thinking of. That's not way to attain enlightenment. You gotta stop it. 100% stopped. Stopped time, let it flow. Floating time, make stop. Right? That's problem. One put together one body. I made the Y. That's why supreme enlightenment. That's called Y equal mx plus b. That's why that way you remember. Another number one, another one is called the 5 time zone teaching. That's called the eagle eye. It's the east time, western time, central time, mountain time, ocean time. 5 the United States has it. Now has it. Before World War II, they didn't. Yeah. And 50 state. 50 state means flower ornament. Flower ornament. One flower has 5 petals. That's perfect in that. Get it?
So you said that the Bodhisattva was a Bodhisattva. Is there a modern, is there a new Bodhisattva?
This Bodhidharma when China Mission Impossible wasn't accomplished. That's one flower has 5 petals. 1,200 years later, come in the United States.
Okay.
That's correct. Yes. Bodhidharma come in the United States.
Maybe I misunderstood, but I thought that both Nagarjuna and Bodhidharma were Buddha.
No, Bodhisattvas.
Bodhisattvas, okay.
Bodhisattva, therefore they receive transmission.
Well, when Buddha said, "I'll come back every 500 years," is that what he? I mean, that's what I thought that he was doing, or that was happening.
That's right. That's why, since Bodhidharma come China, they're missing quite a bit. The World War I, World War II is going on. After that, 1,200 years means twice, 500 twice, and come in the United States.
So the next Buddha will be Maitreya, right?
Maitreya already here. Bodhidharma coming after 1,200. Maitreya is why I call MXP.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already done here. That's why I gave you this one. Why I call MXP and Bodhidharma 1,200 years later, one flower has 5 petals. That's 2 at the same time in the United States. Therefore, American Zen masters perfect. No one can compete it. Whoever comes, you gotta win. As animal, longest tail, who is it? Longest tail.
Man.
Huh?
Man.
Man, right, man. Mind is tail.
Right.
Mind is tail. Very, very long. That when you mind over, you don't have tail. You're Buddha. If there's mind, there's tail. That's dream world, and there's dream world, Allah God, and one God, and God is, and enlightenment, and not enlightenment. All the mind matters. You gotta mind care over, emptiness care over. Emptiness still belong to mind. In mind, believe in Buddha, in God means that's belong to mind, and mind emptiness. On time is quite a bit difference. In time is still samsara. On time is justice to Supreme Court, Supreme Ninth Amalya consciousness. Clean, you gotta really clean up, otherwise someone step on your tail. Cultural behavior, this mind matters. Tail.
Big tail.
Big tail. Mind behavior, cultural behavior.
talk a little bit about the difference between right view and wisdom? The difference between the right view and wisdom.
Right view
Is
is
there any difference between wisdom and right view?
wisdom light. When you say wisdom light, yeah, light means immobilize. Wisdom means, borderline. Which has root is not moving but top,
Still,
but moving by wind.
there's still tail.
That's called the Kant philosophy. Philosophy of Kant. Yeah, that's German guy. He's really
Yeah,
great philosopher.
he was close. Wisdom, right.
Wisdom light, no different daylight, nirvana daylight. And ninth consciousness, no difference, nirvana daylight. In order to describe the daylight, you can thoughtless clean, number one. Thoughtless clean. Second one is micro thoughtless light, wisdom light. They put together, turn into nirvana daylight. The same thing why. Why call MXP. Yeah. Otherwise, I gotta explain years. Buddha explained many years. 49 years at that time, no chemistry, no developed nothing, but he just tried to describe that he brought out this dragon. Dragon means not real animal, but thinking of dragon, thinking for dragon, meditation dragon. And now in the chemistry, that water means H2O. H is dragon. Hydrogen, that's called dragon.
Is the wisdom lay consciousness?
Alaya consciousness. But you can tell wisdom, yes. Alaya consciousness, wisdom. And wisdom light means
Wisdom.
ninth Amalaya consciousness. Wisdom, just eight Alaya consciousness. One God would say wisdom.
Right.
Yeah. Wisdom light means no more leaking mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snowing. Oh. This is snowing. Right? It's snowing out or snowing in.
Oh, it's snowing on us.
He will be.
It's on, it's not in.
So, Master Shin, in supreme enlightenment, there is no time.
Floating time, you got stop.
Stop time.
Stop the time, let it flow. That's called supreme enlightenment.
And when there is time, there's leaking.
Floating time called mindfulness.
Right.
And stopped time means God, one God. Eight Alaya consciousness. They're very floating.
Floating time.
Yeah. That's what you gotta pause. That's why why means one can one. Why called MX plus B. The perfected analogies can. You hold on and you talk about, you never lose, you win.
So supreme enlightenment, you stop time, let it flow, floating.
Very
time.
floating, yes. That's called kalpas. Kalpas. Kalpas means nirvana. No different. Nirvana daylight called. Nirvana means attain enlightenment. And Buddhist scriptures, according to Buddhist scriptures, nirvana means attain enlightenment. Bodhi means wisdom light. Yeah. Buddhist scripture masters, they don't know this much. They just confusing. No difference. Nirvana and the body is the same. they say that means they are not. They are not masters. They are not ego life. 5 time zone teaching. That's ego life. All the 49 years for the open mouth called that's 5 zone time teaching. That's ego life.
Yes.
That's the Nirvana Palace. Nirvana Palace means 4 virtues, right? Number 1, forever. Number 2, unnameable happiness. Number 3, prime enlightenment. Number 4, supreme enlightenment. That's called Nirvana Palace. Combined. You got quite a while to get, make sure any field you get in, how to get over, you practice. Like puzzles, puzzles, assembly, disassembly, you freely. Everything, cause and effect, everything you puzzle, assembly, disassembly. Any mechanical things, any form of use disassembly, assembly. It's military training. You have a handgun, you can assemble, disassemble right away. How fast you do that. Also aeroplane, same thing. Aeroplane, disassembly, assembly practice. That's hard work. It's called communication going on. That's why. They go so talking by air, talking, communication included. That's assembly, disassembly, very hard.
So, Master Shin, do Nirvana enlightenment and prime enlightenment, they still deal with form world?
Of course, included.
That's form world.
All course.
That's time.
Form world included, yes.
Okay. Supreme enlightenment.
We supreme, same thing.
No form. No form world.
No form included, of course. All forms of hallucination.
Okay.
You just dreaming world. You dream when you wake up, that's genuine world, right?
So we think.
Nobody, no, even, dog shit leave behind, everything included. Everything. Every worms, virus, superbug, this, that. Where superbug come from? Come on.
Krypton?
Huh?
Super Bowl, a big bowl.
No, superbug. Superbug comes from prescriptions.
Yes.
Prescription. Yeah, right, yeah.
You take so much prescription, you can turn into superbug. And what kind of prescription you need it? You just need a gem.
That's the only one.
Super prescription.
Prescription, in order to win prescription, you need only enlightenment. Otherwise, you can't. They call it why call it MSB. As long as mind going on, it is business. And you enlightened that mind, you control it, you operate it. Therefore, you never become sick bodily, never be sick by mindly, you never be sick by life way, the four bodies. Never be contaminated by any sickness. Whoever got sick, that means the mind operates self. Mind operates your life. And you operate mind, you don't get sick. This NIH means their mind operating NIH. They didn't know that. They think, God will do it, stop everything already. That's called eternal hell. God means you let it go through. Stop the time means let it go. That's kalpas. Only kalpa, nirvana works. Kalpa and nirvana, no difference thing. Right?
Nice.
talk more, I'm here or not, same, That's why I just try to make sure only can Zen master grown up, and nobody can beat you. There's so many questions. 1,700 koans. Everything quizzing. Everything return one. Where does one return? That's very basic. Everything returns one God. Where's the God return?
Right. It's everything.
Huh?
Everything.
Everything. That's not correct. that moment you got banned. Jen steak for the ban. Or hal. Hal means a screen. Two kind. Bang, Jen steak or hal is big sounds. One Jen master last call. Yeah, I gotta burn everything. Yeah, everything returned, where to return. I understand it. Do it. He's raising one hands, and the master take a knife and cut it off. He just take arm down. he doesn't want to cut the arm. If leave alone, you really cut. That's called violation. Right. It's a very, like laughing the stories, tons of them.
But aren't koans important to show the disenchantment of the mind, or disenchant the
Well,
physical mind?
koan means how much these guys study scriptures, read the Bibles, how much read the Bible. No matter Christian people, they read the Bible 100%, they are and memorize well. They are not correct. Bible itself is failed. It's bush burning. Bush burning is not correct. We call it Hollywood, Zen wood. Fire element in the wood. That's correct. Yeah, they just skipped it. All philosophy, PhDs wrote the Bibles. Scholars wrote that. That's failed. They didn't know it because they didn't know the Enlightenment. I studied one semester in the United States. I have to. That's required. When I'm adult, I never look at it, but at that time I read it. It's flawed. That's not correct. It's not correct. That's correct. That's it. You don't have to argue about it.
Actually, the analogy that you're making is very good. There's not much difference between answering a koan to a master than answering a question and a test. It's the same thing. And they're looking for, the way you answer the question. So the fact that you answer a question and a test doesn't make you wiser than anybody else.
Yeah, but I think it's the idea you can't answer the koan with your mind.
But that you do the same thing with your exam. To answer your exam
As
with your
long
mind.
as you mind holding on, you cannot win.
Right.
Let the mind go. Even mind go, you cannot win. There's emptiness. You fail in emptiness, you gotta save yourself. Otherwise, nobody can save you. This federal help.
Yeah, but that's the benefit of the koan.
That's right. Benefit of koan means nirvana place.
Right.
Enlightenment.
But I would say that probably most of the people get trapped into the koans for the sake of answering the koans, not because emptiness.
Most people, they're cut by commands.
Right.
99%. They cannot have 100% command answer unless you attain enlightenment. Once you attain enlightenment, you can win by hal or you can win by Jen steak.
That's a better koan.
That's violation.
Especially here in this country, you see some of these Zen temples where people have to go through a certain number of koans. To me, that's actually like taking an exam at university. You take courses and then they give you a certificate. You're a Zen master, right? So that doesn't give you confidence.
But that's irrelevant because it's not true.
It's not true what?
The program that they're putting people through, the koan's only important to the individual, it's not an academic
Well, that's what I'm
exercise.
saying, that the problem is it's an academical, in the States, it's an academical, exercise. You have to go through 30 koans to actually qualify to be a master. That, to me, is a systematizing the whole thing. It's not really answering from your bottom, from the root of mind. So I don't need to actually have a master to ask me a koan to actually really find out whether, I have it or I don't have it.
But if somebody who gets a certificate because he resolved 30 koans and hasn't come to the realization of who he is in the same place where you started.
But that's what I'm saying, you don't need, you answer one koan, you don't have to answer 30.
Yeah, well, I would disagree with that. But there is a benefit in the koan because it gives you this enhancement of your own mind.
Yeah, benefit of a koan is just be patient, that's what it is.
That's the only thing. That's-
Patient, not enough.
Yeah, that's
It's,
right. Yeah, I agree with that.
practice, isn't it? I mean,
Huh?
to get benefit out of a koan, it's the practice, it's the rubbing of the wood together. Otherwise, you can't.
That's not practice. That fire in wood,
Right.
action, it's not
Right.
practice.
Okay. Action, and that's what I meant.
Action.
Okay. Action.
Samanda padara parisata. Action. Practice means you just thinking hard, thinking deeply. Yeah, concentration, another word.
Exactly.
That's
what- yeah.
concentration means belong to mind.
Right. And that's, in fact, that's the way they sell you the koans. They say, you can focus on concentration. That's all you get with the koan.
How to concentrate your mind, that's why Koan practice. But Koan itself is fault anyway, like a Christian Bible is same thing, yes, no difference.
Although they're actually funny, though.
We call it funny.
Oh, I read a lot of koans. I mean, I think they're very nice stories.
That's called a cyber. Cyber is very, very correct.
Christian doctrine, I mean, the Gospels are political statements.
Yeah, gospel means mindfulness, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that's comparative to a koan. I mean,
Not Koan, that's right, you're right. Gospel is gospel self, yeah.
Yeah.
But talk got to profit, you get it. But talking by profit, that's called the silver. And the silence by profit called gold.
It seemed to me that I'm sorry, it seemed to just to play off what you were saying, it seems to me that the analogy between Christianity and Zen would be this surrender. The idea of
Surrender.
the idea of egolessness, surrendering. No more ego, no more separate individuality.
How do you get that with the koan? I don't see the analogy between that and the koan.
no, because in the koan, what you're coming to is the realization that your physical mind cannot solve the problem.
That's not exactly what they say about the koans.
I don't care what they
Yeah,
say.
no. Well, I do have to care because we're talking about koans as people. I mean, did you create the koan?
No.
No. Okay, so I'm talking about the people that have defined koans. The definition of a koan is a statement, right? It's a case study, right?
Right.
So what people have practiced koans for many years, thousands of years, what they say, is that they use the koans just to focus the mind. That's it. There is no realization, and the problem is people get trapped into this thing of actually focusing on repeating the things and trying to understand it.
No, that's not the end. The end, the purpose.
I didn't create the koans. I'm just telling you what people that have created koans and worked on koans say.
Well, this goes back to this question of disenchantment and why are you here? Okay, you're only here because you can't solve the problem.
I don't think. Well, that's your take. That's not my. I'm not here because of that. I'm here for some other reasons. I'm not here because of I cannot solve a problem.
Well, most people can.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's not me.
Okay.
So I'm saying I cannot speak about that because that's not me.
There's a world famous violinist, guy, he says, like a Beethoven, old time called Beethoven. Beethoven, the musician.
Yeah.
The violinist says, he says, I earn genuine violinist. The people ask, "Is that you? Is that yourself?" No, that's not me. And who? This violin self? No, that's not violin self.
Well, that's actually, Carlos, I think what I was saying was not different than what you were saying. What I was saying was that the Christian idea of surrendering the ego, surrendering it, is similar to the koan in that when you focus on the concentrate to the point where you actually lose the idea of the ego, the answer itself appears automatically. And so the idea of the surrender in Christianity is the same as losing the ego in any type of practice, in koan practice, because in koan practice, you're supposed to lose the idea of the ego as well, even though you focus.
Again, I don't know because I'm not a Christian, okay? Even though I was raised as a Christian, I was never a Christian. So I cannot speak about that. I can tell a little bit about koans because I've been reading a lot of this stuff for many years. And the way people sell these koans is exactly as a technique, right? It's nothing about surrendering. It's nothing about attaining anything. It's just a technique to focus, like anybody else would do. Indians do it a different way, right? The Chinese actually do the koans in a completely different way, and in southern Asia they do it in a different way. But at the end, historically and traditionally, the way the koan was created was as another technique to actually focus the mind. Now, so you see people here doing mindfulness, right? To focus the mind, and so.
But wasn't the koan then used in order to you focus the mind, but at some point the mind and body drops off?
For sure, but that's what we do upstairs.
But that's what I'm talking about.
But no,
the dropping off is analogous to the Christian surrendering.
Right. I don't know about the Christians. I'm not going to talk about that because I have no idea about that.
Because Andy had mentioned that. But
I can tell you about the koans. The koans, essentially, what I'm saying, the koan is just another way of actually focusing the mind, concentration. That's it. That's as far as it gets. Now, whether the individual can actually achieve something else after that, it could be possible. But that you could do, even if you're playing the drums. That's what I'm saying. Okay, there's nothing special about the koans, and with respect to all the techniques that people use to focus the mind. That's what I'm saying. Well, I cannot speak about.
That doesn't make sense.
I cannot talk about Christianity because I don't know anything about that.
Well, that's because you're disenchanted with it.
No, it's because I never
You
interested.
told me you were raised Christian.
I was raised Christian because I was forced to do it, but I was never interested in it.
Well,
I was never disenchanted.
Well, then
It never was appealing to
we
me.
go back to the mission statement about disenchantment. The fact that you don't take it, you rejected it.
I didn't reject it, Andy. I was never interested. There's a big difference between that. I was never. When you reject something, it's because you already been through it, and then you reject it because you don't like it.
You may not.
I was never interested.
I'll agree. You may decide. You may come that you didn't overtly reject it. Okay, but it's failing to do what it does, and what Americans are supposed to do is give that alternative.
I don't. Again, I think that you're talking from your personal experience, which I respect. But my personal experience has nothing to do with your personal experience. I was never, I saw people that were Christians and Muslims, and I'm Jewish, and I never rejected their religions. It's just that I was not interested.
I don't think there's never been
No,
rejection.
again, you did say rejecting. I talk about not feeling disenchanted. That's not exactly what I feel. I feel that it's not what I believe in.
That's fine. That's your description. But
Absolutely.
It doesn't satisfy you.
yeah,
No, because I don't even know what they are.
because you didn't care.
Well, but the same thing. So would you say that you're disenchanted about being a Jewish? You've never been a Jewish.
You denied and you pro it, both of mind worlds. Concentration or concentrating mind or focusing mind or mind. There is mind talking.
Right.
This mind is dualities, only cause and effect. Cause and effect. It's a mind world. If there is cause, there is effect. If there is science, then it's form world.
Right.
And the emptiness, they cannot analyze nothing. Therefore, they drop self. Therefore, any science going on, any cultural going on, cultural behavior, the mind world. All those mind world, those mind, you gotta be trapped. totally permanent, upside down. They're called prime enlightenment. That's why talk or not talk, both of them are mind world. Talking, mind, not talking, silence is mind world too. Then you gotta, as long as you're prime enlightenment, you just talk with no talk. Yeah, no talk with talk. It's both of you win.
Yeah, but you don't get enlightenment unless you have your human form. Enlightenment comes from the mind, from the abandonment of
Yeah,
the
you can
mind.
say enlightenment comes from mind, but we don't
I wouldn't say it comes from,
anti-mind.
but it comes from, you have to have that mind to come to that realization.
No, that's mind means only life, any lively person. Or lively, non, like a piece of rocks and earth, but no mind called. But when you look at that, that's belong to mind. Either way, form is mind world. Any forms. Emptiness is mind number two. Form is emptiness, both of them are hell. That's enlightenment world is talking about. That's emptiness form. The emptiness form, that means that form is immobilized form. That's Kumara's talking about this. He took so many years talking about that. Yeah.
Who was that?
Kumarasaba, who was translated in Sanskrit to Chinese language scripture. That's Kumarasaba. He's talking about emptiness form. That's form. Mountains, mountain, water is water. They're talking about Chinese people. But that mountain is mountain, then immobilized form. Form is not mobilized. That's why it could lead to enlightenment. That take a while, but when you talk about take for a while, but when you silence, shortcut. Just not figuring out, it's turning. Not turning nitrogen over, it's all compost, they turn over, turn to nice topsoil. Then everybody live very well. And every agricultural, any animals and life live so well, topsoil. That's why it's for humans, meditation, thinking, philosophy was take a long, long time to attain enlightenment. So many, nature philosophy of nature, it's covered by all. Christian Bible covered all that. Top of the put God. Very, very simple. They made the God mistake. as long as they figured out in the fire element, the wood, nobody can argue about it. The bushy bony, that's very skeptical. That's cycles. We're not talking about anything specific talking, but it's general ways of talking. Mm-hmm. And duality is cause and effect duality. 12 causality. The number one is ignorance. Another word. Stupidity.
It's the big one.
But the mind made the bush burn.
Exactly. Bush burning is mind. That's good. And then next week we turn the camera to Andy. All right.
Ready for your close-up?
Can we say that carpers are
Remember,
similar?
Kalpas is
Is similar to nostalgia, like a nostalgic state of mind, like you pause time.
Taogen. You say Taogen. You say
Nostalgia,
Nostalgic.
nostalgic, like reminiscing,
reminiscing.
Longing
Okay.
for the old days.
sentimental old days, like pausing time. Like some people.
They're much older than that.
Some people actually like stop and stay in a certain time. Is that similar to what the carpers?
No. Kalpas. No. You gotta stop the emptiness, let it flow time. That's called nirvana. only attain enlightenment, it belong to them. They're materials. You know, nuclear bomb, the nitrogen belong to nuclear bomb. Same thing. That's the kalpa belong to only enlightenment material. Yes. Get it?
So you must be
It's called the
enlightened to
kalpa.
have karmas.
Kalpa, yes, kalpas. God formed emptiness and let it fluid. That's kalpa. Therefore, God and heaven over, and you operate eternally. Supreme enlightenment, you can operate it. You go to Supreme Court, even if you believe in God or you're holding a Bible, they wouldn't excuse. There is a sentence if anything done.
Boatload of cash.
It's equality, no discrimination.
So it's like stopping time, but still staying in the moment, letting the time flow.
This form world is a floating time world.
Right.
Microdot is still, floating time.
Right.
That's called cyber. And another one, absolutely emptiness, stopped, nothing to do but emptiness.
Right.
That's emptiness. You gotta go through to make floating time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's called Y, or Doppler horn, or elephant tusk.
So emptiness doesn't impede time. Emptiness doesn't impede time.
Yeah, emptiness is huge word. All space looks like emptiness, but the ordinary people think emptiness is got everything. But emptiness is not the end. Emptiness is eternal hell. You flunk. Emptiness is not emptiness. Emptiness got floating. That's called. Emptiness is form.
Mhm.
That form is immobilized. That's why you can attain that.
So it's the same as the white cloud not being caught by the blue sky.
Right. White cloud never caught by blue sky.
It's the same thing with time.
Right.
Then it's-
Wind never caught by network. And the cheer of you or anti of you, don't let your mind leak. When people cheer you, you becoming president of the whole world. You feel proud of it. You leak mind. And you're anti it, and someone says, ex-mayor of New York City guy said, Obama is not loving the United States. Everyone to know that's wrong. That's a leaking mind that's talking about. Yeah. That's what you're understanding it very well. And why I made y equal mxp, mx plus p. And all the argument you can solve by this one, grade school geometry. You can solve about
the equation.
For ordinary people, let the five time zone teaching and 50 state, you can let the attain that. 50 state is flower ornaments. Flower ornament means 5 abundance, right? The number 1, perfect taste, supreme enlightenment. Not believe in God. Believe in God and emptiness. You fail in your own time justice to supreme enlightenment. There are no heavy duty you carry around your neck.
Not when I leave. An hour from now, ask me.
Yeah, everybody carry out their mind bag. I say your spirits carry on mind. You cannot go heaven at all. Okay. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them. Desire is inexhaustible. We vow to end them. Our dharmas are boundless. We vow to master them. The Buddha's way is incomparable. We vow to attain it.
Thank you.
Thank you.